In the previous section, we created our business hours and off business hours, the hours of operations. Now that logic is created. Now we want to achieve this, okay? Press 1 for orders, 2 for sales, 3 for technical support, 4 for office address. Uh, you know, play office address. Let me make it more clear. Uh, so for this, right, we need to have the queues created first so that, when we announce this and the customer chooses these option, these queue really exist, right? So let's go ahead and create the queues, which are order, sales, and technical support. These are the three queues. So I'm going to go to routing and queues. For you as an administrator, you got to be rotating most of the time amongst these two tabs, all right, under the routing and under the user. So for now, I'm just going to go to the second last option under routing and going to go ahead. Hours of operations we created. This time, I'm going to create the queues. All right, so there are three queues that we have to create: order, sales, and technical support. So I'm going to Okay, so we already have one basic queue created, but we need our new queue. So we'll say orders, okay, department, orders department, hours of operation. It's operational between Monday to Friday, the one we created, okay, M-F business hours. Okay, now what all do we have here? Leave these all options because we haven't created it yet. Uh, right, outbound caller ID is something for the agents to be created. So I'm just gonna leave it default for these options for now. Uh, and these are not mandatory, so just gonna leave it as is. But for outbound caller, outbound calls have selected the main number that we claimed, and that's the only number that we have at the moment. So maximum contacts in queue, you can uh, set it, for instance, how many calls can actually wait in this queue while the callers are multiple, but the agent is just two or three. And after how much time, the overflow is going to happen from this queue. So you can put it in here. So it says queued callbacks may exceed this limit. So I'm going to uncheck this for now. This is optional anyways. And the quick connect is something you would need for this queue. For instance, you want the call to be transferred to the agent, to the supervisor, right? So the agent who are added into this queue needs to transfer the call to another department or their supervisor or someone else, or maybe an outside queue. So that option will be given if you connect this quick connects option, if you configure them. But for now, we don't need this. All we need is the name of the queue and the hours of operations and the outbound configuration. With this, let's go ahead and click on Add New Queue. And we have our orders department created. Okay. Now, you cannot really uh, delete the queues, but you can definitely disable the queues, because once you delete the queue, right, AWS does not want you to delete them, because for the reporting reasons, your options will be gone. So you can disable them, but you cannot delete them once created. Okay. So I'm gonna create the new one now with the same way, orders, and then we had sales. Hours of operations again, Monday to Friday. You're gonna choose the very same options. We haven't configured the outbound part, so it's okay. Leave rest of the thing as is and say add new queue. So we created two of them, orders and sales. Now let's add the last one, which is technical support, and say technical support department. Hours of operation is going to be Monday to Friday, business hours, outbound options. Leave it as is. We're good to add the queue. All right, so we created all the queues right here. Uh, and we are good to up till this option. Okay. Now we're going to use these queues that we created when we create our actual call flow in Amazon Connect. Okay, so that we can actually, uh, you know, let the call actually flow into Amazon Connect. But before creating the call flow, we are just preparing everything that we need. So three things, in fact, that we have done. One is we claimed this number. Second is we created hours of operations. And in this one, we created 3 queues. Okay, so far so good. Let's see you in the next session. Thanks for watching.